Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Hash with Stacie Shea. Waiting on my guests to come in. We'll be going on here in just a moment. Thank you for your patience. We'll be in soon.
Yeah, Jet, I see you thinking about.
This evening, I'll be featuring our good friend Joe B, aka Joe Brundidge, and also Smackola of the Dirty Wormz and Black Tea Talk. So stay tuned. Hey, Joe B, Joe B, Joe B.
Hey, now I know what
How
this
you
button does.
doing?
I'm good now that I know how the damn mute button works. Shit. Um,
Hang
how
on.
are you? How are you doing?
I'm all right. My little dog is tripping, and of course, that's what happens all the time. As soon as I turn this thing on, the dog starts barking. So
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm trying to get that handled. That's why I'm dark right now. So my apologies, but we can see you. You look great.
I
Uh,
thank I thank you. My beard thanks you. I just brushed it.
yeah. So okay, she's good now. I think. I think she's good.
Excellent.
Let's see. We'll see if she can hold out. If she does all right, just a second. All right. Hey, how are you, Joe?
Hey.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today, this evening. Um,
Likewise. Well, not. Well, thank you for
let me see.
letting
I
me.
can't hear you. What's going on here? Hang on. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. That that should do it. All right. Are we good now? Let's see. Can I hear you?
Hello.
Ah, yes, I can. Now I can hear you.
How about that? Boom.
Yes, much better. Thank you very much. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining me on the Hash with Stacie Shea. Um,
Thank you for
Joe,
having me.
of course. Joe B,
Yes.
who are you, sir?
Um, I am a proud son. I am a father. I am a friend. I'm an advocate. I'm a writer, a damn good one on off days, and and
Even on
and
my worst day.
and an advocate of non creepy hugs.
Awesome. You give some of the best non creepy hugs out there, so that's
Hug,
wonderful.
hug is life. Hug is life.
That's wonderful. What else are you doing? What else are
Um.
you left out? You left some stuff out. That's the list that you're used to giving, but you've added some things over the last couple of, well, I guess about a year now. You've added some things. What about your store and your shirts?
Oh, Well, I was doing. I started out doing drop shipping to get into it, to get myself used to it. But long story short, I just started a t-shirt site called 615 SIXONEFIV. I told people I know I spelled the five without the E on purpose. I'm aware of that. I told people I'll tell everybody what it means when I sell 500 shirts,
Ah.
which means I got 500 shirts to remember what I said. Uh,
You can do it.
yes. So basically, I've always loved T-shirts. I'm a big fan of T-shirts. I wanted to create a line of T-shirts that weren't just novelty. I mean, novelty shirts are cute. They're fun, you know, a little gone fishing or whatever little, you know, world's greatest dad or whatever kind of crap like that. That's all fun and cute. But I love it when I see clothing that bears a message that represents the wearer. You know, the person didn't just buy it because they didn't have anything to wear that day. They bought that shirt because that shirt says a lot about who they are.
Right.
You know, like one of the first shirts I sold, the first shirt I sold was a line from a poem I have called Repeat, where it says, my existence does not require, or a line from half of the poem from Repeated where it says, my existence does not require your permission.
Yes.
And I feel like in this day and age, that message is one that resonates with a lot of people. One of my closest friends, and a damn good poet himself, a damn good poet themselves, John Mark Valentine, he coined it best when he said that right now we're in a bit of a cultural bleed out, to where the issues that you hear people carry on about aren't issues that we just started fussing about, that we just started getting on about. Oh, y'all just make up anything. No, that's not what it is, baby. The issue is that we've always felt this way. It's just that we've been quiet. We've been quiet and had no choice to be quiet because of the status quo. You know, so we've had to toe the line. And then when we do speak up and say, hey, maybe don't talk to me like that, or maybe don't treat me like that because I'm just as human as you, we get met with backlash. We get met with loss. We get met with punishment. We get met with all sorts of negative stuff. And now playing field is much more level than it ever has been. And it's like the saying says, I don't know who said it, but respect existence or expect resistance. And all that lack of respect gave way to a whirlwind that is now being reaped immensely, and it's only just started to spin. So back to the T-shirts, I wanted to create a shirt that you could put on that doesn't say who you are, but speaks to who you are, that resonates with who you are. My shirts aren't here to save the world, because if you have time and the energy for it, that's your job. My shirts, like I said, they represent you and they resonate you. And I have a long-term plan down the pipe, several ideas. Like my second phase I'm going to move into with the shirts is that I want to start putting out shirts with the names of those we've lost to things like police brutality. Like, say, for example, I want to do a Breonna Taylor shirt, but I'm not just going to sell it. I'm going to have a separate section for shirts like that, to where whenever you buy those shirts, all the proceeds that would come to me, because since I'm doing this print on demand, of course, if I charge X amount for a shirt, part of it goes to the company printing the shirt, and then what's left goes to me. In this case, if you go to this other section on my site when I get it going, and you buy a shirt for Breonna Taylor or whatever cause the shirt represents, then all that money goes towards any charities pertaining to Breonna Taylor, whether it's funding the cause that us losing her initiated, anything to that effect. If I do a shirt for George Floyd, the money will go to his child. Things of that nature. So though there'll be shirts with my ideas on them, then there'll be shirts with ideas that represent important causes and things that need to be spoke on. And if you feel that way about these things, then you buy my shirt because it represents and resonates with you, and you know that the money from that shirt went somewhere. And I don't mind just being the go-between for that. You know?
And that's a great idea, and that's beautiful. And I honestly, I hope that blows up. I hope that a lot of people start picking their thing that they're about and start putting their work towards it. And because there's a lot of things that there's a lot of folks that need a lot of help right now, and a lot of causes that need a lot of help. So that's wonderful. Oh, here we go. Look, that looks like we got Smackola coming in. Smackola all the way
snap.
in. Are you ready? Are you ready? Smackola. Hey, who's that man? That man over there. Sideways. I'm a little nervous. Hey, Smackola. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can
we
hear you, brother.
now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, I'm in here.
Welcome.
What's going down? Sorry I'm late.
Hey, no worries. We're glad you're here.
What's going on?
We're live on
okay.
Facebook. Yeah, we're live on Facebook streaming. We were just talking about Joe B's got a t-shirt company, and he's talking about his some of his initiatives that he's working towards. So I'm gonna let him keep talking about that. And welcome,
All right.
and we'll come. But before we do that,
Sure.
who are you?
Say what?
Who are you? Before we do that, who are you? Tell us.
I'm just me, Thomas Chapman, aka Thomas Brooks, aka Smackola, Smacky Ben Laden, Smacky Skywalker.
I love it.
The 2-inch real killer, Dirty Wormz, whatever.
Whatever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But and what else? You got that the Black Tea Talk, right? You got a show that you do Monday through Friday, 10 to noon on Facebook Live, right?
Yep.
So we'll talk more about that here in a minute. But I'm gonna let Joe B finish what he was saying. But yeah, man, we got Smackola and Joe B in the house. Yes.
Anyway. I was about Smack. What's good? How you been, brother?
What up, man? I'm good, man. How you?
Good to see you, baby. Good to see you pushing. I'm loving the struggle. I've always loved watching you shine, man. And I've always loved, I was talking with Stacie about you the other day about how one thing about you is that whether or not anybody can agree with what you say, you bring your point across in a way that's intelligent, that's not overbearing, that's not overselling. You know what I'm saying? It's just really what it is, no matter what. And I told her, I was like, even if you can't agree with what he says, you can't fault the way he brought it to you. You know what I'm saying? And I've always I will brag to people sometimes about not just your work with the Dirty Wormz, not just your work at Smackola, but just everything outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Community work, your hustle, business-wise, everything. Because I remember when we used to chill at Genuine Joe's, listening to you talk about, about how the game goes and everything like that. And you would be on some real life stuff. And it's a lot of artists out there like you who chose, instead of just going for the big easy check for 10 minutes of fame, this is there to make your own foundation, because what you have right now, the industry can't take away from you.
Right.
Exactly.
I love that. I was saying, I'm gonna finish rambling about my t-shirts, but with the site, like I said, if you buy a shirt on my site, it's not just because it's cute, funny, whatever, but it's because there's a shirt on there where you see it and you're like, oh, that resonates with me. Like there's one I got, and it's one of my favorites, and I intend to be wearing it very soon, where it says 3 out of every 4. I've seen it before, and I decided to make my own version, where it says 3 out of every 4 Americans got me fucked up. and how many times have you felt like that? Like, you know what? I done had to tell too many of these jokers, you know what I'm saying, how not to come at me. And I got one. One of my friends says she wants to buy it and wear it to work, but she's a teacher, so she can't. One that says, first of all, there will be none of the shit today.
None of it. Like,
zero. And just, just stuff like that. But like I said, I'm anxious to move into the second phase, to where I create a section on the page to where it's like, if you see a shirt with Breonna Taylor's name for it, all the money that would come to me after the print on demand costs would go to her. Same will go to her family. Same with George Floyd. I was thinking about doing the same. I have a line of shirts I'm planning to do where I want the proceeds to go to independent businesses. Like I spend a whole month, like every month, like if you buy, like if I had it right now, every one of those shirts that you would buy for the month of August, as of September 1st, all those monies would go to the business that I picked that month, you know? And my shirts right now, it's a side hustle. It is. And I could, not being idealistic, but if I sell 1,000 George Floyd shirts, 1,000 Breonna Taylor shirts, 1,000 independent business shirts, and none of the money comes to me, I'm not saying that I don't want money, because yay, but at the same time, I'm glad that the money went somewhere. You know what I'm saying? My shirts, my cause. If I don't sell one of my shirts, if I don't sell a shirt that says none of this shit today, or 3 out of every 4 Americans, or whatever, yada, yada, then that's my fault. That's my lack of hustle. That's my failure of imagination. I can do better to make money off my shirts. But I always, I feel a certain kind of way about doing my best to make sure that money goes to these causes specifically, because you always hear a lot about, okay, well, we donated to this cause, but where exactly did the money go? You know, and I want to work to be as transparent as possible to make sure these causes are fully supported. Let them know, hey, every single cent went there, especially when I start my YouTube channel. Be like, this month we sold this much of the so-and-so shirts, so we're going to see to it that we send that money to them. As far as my art, as far as my craft's concerned, I'm always going to write. I'm working on my next book, my next album right now, and I can't tell you when it's going to come out. I'm just telling you that I'm going to keep writing. I plan to do some writing tonight. I have plenty of coffee ready to go.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Pen to paper. I have, you know, in various other forms of inspiration, so to speak, but that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, the work don't stop. And we live in a day and age to where everybody's so worried about, this quarantine, we can't go nowhere, we can't do nothing. I'm like, look, man, if you bored, you ain't paying attention.
Right. I mean, that's exactly right. And actually, part of why I asked Smackola to come on is because this man, you want to talk about branding? Who doesn't know?
Listen.
What doesn't come to mind? Like with Dirty Wormz, when you hear Dirty Wormz, when you hear the word Dirty Wormz, what immediately comes to your mind? What image immediately comes to your mind? What sound immediately comes to your mind?
I love that simple. I've seen that sticker, because you used to have the stickers, Smack. Do you still have those? Yeah,
see it right there.
I was looking at as soon as I asked. I looked in the back of the car. I've seen those stickers over the city.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
I went to a show at was it Come and Take It? I mean, it's not just at Come and Take It, but these guys project their logo onto the outside of the building. So I think that one of the things that we really as far as Austin being its own like powerhouse scene, there's very few that really have that strong branding like you do, Smack. And hang on, I think my dog is stuck somewhere. Maybe she got hit in the head by a cat. Hang on a second. But there's very few folks that have
just imagine a cat with a blackjack somewhere in your house, just bopping them on the nose and stuff.
Goodness. But there's very few people in Austin that have not only built as strong a brand, but also maintained that brand and built that brand. Like you say on your Black Tea Talk, who would have thought that you'd be selling teacups, right? But those teacups are fire. You know, they're and it's a thing, you know, but I think that's been one of the holdups to keep Austin from blowing up as a music city, because we've got a ton of talent. It's not for lack of talent, but some people have made it out, yourself included, and others have not. So what do you think that's because of?
Okay.
I'm ready. Yes.
I think most of it is a lack of follow through.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of groups come and go, not even just groups, just people with ideas, and they don't follow them through. They don't follow them all the way through. They don't understand the stages of who are you studying? Like, okay, so when I started off, the first thing I studied was Star Wars, McDonald's, Apple, right? So I started looking into, okay, well, how did they get started? Where did they start? So when I saw that they were basically starting out of garages and just ideas, especially if you haven't seen the Star Wars merchandise branding, you should look that up. It might be on Netflix still. I know it came on Netflix, but I remember seeing it when you
Yeah.
had to read about it. You know what I mean? And how they kind of they had the toys and everything made before they actually had the contract. Like that's how hard they believed in it. Like they started making all that stuff first, and
Everything.
then those deals came. So then by the time it came, they already owned 100% of all that merchandise. So they killed it. You know what I mean? McDonald's the same way. Like how okay, a million served daily. How? Like, okay, how did
It's a
y'all do this?
hamburger.
Yeah, like, but it was the consistency, it was the branding, it was all these things. But to answer your question, I think a lot of people don't understand they have to follow it through all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. And
Yeah.
then when you get the money and then you go, oh wow, I made this money, you're gonna have to take that money and reinvest it. No different than like I hear a lot of people talk about, oh man, I'm finna get into stocks, I'm finna get into Bitcoin, and I'm looking at them like, dude, you couldn't even sell them pencils you invested in. Like, how you finna
Right.
get into Bitcoin? Like, or how you finna get into some stocks where you got to really sit on it? So this is the same thing, only the money's actually coming through your hands, and then you got to have that discipline to go, okay, I'm about to reinvest into this.
Yeah.
I'm about to still eat these bag of apples and these ramen noodles. I always tell people, I said, if you look at the pictures from Dirty Wormz or Smackola when it was coming through all those phases, you see my weight go up and down. So you could tell when the brand was doing really good, because that was wait. But you could tell when the brand was doing really good because I was at my skinniest. You know what I'm saying? Not at me gaining the most weight. It was when I was my skinniest because everything went to it. But that was a sacrifice I made to go, I'm finna dump all this right back in it and get more product. So just to keep it kind of short, my idea was, okay, so I got this one t-shirt. Okay, it's popping. I need to get 10 of these. I need to get 10 different products. So I just kept investing until I got to that point. Now I got all this product. And my thing was, if I can just sell 2 of those, 1 of those, 3 of those, anyway, long story short, if I have 10 different products and I could sell each one, then I could make 100% income.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, are you still selling those spiky bras? But I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
I'm scared about the demon sperm. I didn't. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it'll protect you from that, but
I'm just kidding. And that was taken completely out of context, by the way. They took that. They did when they. I'm sorry, but you said
it's all right.
Look, Joe, I see you laughing over there, but I'm just serious.
Look, Smack. You see that big-eyed look she had? They did do it. They did do it. That's the look a kid has when you ask them, "Did you do it?" I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Smack, you made a strong point, and this is an object lesson I had to learn. I got so hyped about starting the t-shirt because you get caught up in the idea. You're doing it yourself. You're independent. You know, big movie montage. I'm doing it. I'm on my way. Blah, blah, blah. Music in the background. You touched on one of the most important lessons. And if it's cool, I'd love for you to speak on it further because I've been wanting to pick your brain about it anyway. The idea, or rather, should I say, the importance of paying yourself back. Because you talked about reinvesting, about as soon as you had that money going in, you didn't just go out and buy this or that. Every penny you made off the items you sold specifically, you brought that money right back to go making some more and making some more and making some more. And I got so happy with the first t-shirts I sold. You know, of course, I've had to pay bills, long story. You know what I'm saying?
You celebrated.
There's that, I celebrate, I paid this, I paid on that. You know what? I'm going to buy an extra can of coconut water this week because I did good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
you got to treat it like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You got to treat it like the stock you would invest in or the Bitcoin you would invest in, you're not going to touch none of that. You're going to see it go, oh, it's going up. Can't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if you had discipline enough not to touch it for 10 years, that's some discipline. You know what I'm saying? And then when people look at it, they go, how did you do this? Man, how are you able to do this? How did you get a credit line for this? I don't have to do that because I had that discipline, and it was hard. It was a hard 10 years. It was hard being just disciplined like that. You know what I mean? But I kept investing in more products. And because the thing is too is, okay, so I'm a musician, first of all. Once they bought the music, what else?
Right.
And then I was already thinking down the road, like, okay, I see where the industry is going. Okay, they're coming out with all this technology. And that was really what I was working towards, was trying to get into the technology. So we actually had the headphones before Beats by Dre. We just didn't have the capital and the resources they did to be able to come out on the same level. So when we first got the first headphones, man, I think it was like $800 to get the prototype. So that's what I did for most of all the products. So I'm giving away some secrets here. When I first did all that stuff, I bought the prototypes, and then when people saw it, they were like, damn, he's got this, you know? But it was the prototype, you know what I mean? From the prototype, if I could get enough orders, then I could order in bulk. But then, you know, of course, people didn't really support it like I thought they would. But I didn't let that stop me. I kept seeing it through. I said, okay, well then, let me get up to a point where I can order this many, and I'll just eat the cost on some of it. So, but they got out there. I ate the cost. Then as years went on, it came to where now it was a little more affordable for me to buy them. But then as it became more affordable for me to buy them and now get it out mass produced, the whole industry did too. So then I'm still behind the Beats by Dre, because now they have the name. But you've heard plenty of people say, oh, those headphones don't even sound that good. But it didn't matter. It's a brand they're selling.
Right.
It's not about the product itself. It's when kids want to wear those, or people want to wear those, they really want to wear them just so you can see that B on the side. That's it.
I remember when I was in high school, and you remember those old school starter jackets, not the pullover.
Oh yeah.
I had I had that Georgetown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had the Hoyas all day. I wore that jacket damn near all day.
And you probably didn't even watch the Hoyas. You probably didn't even watch it.
No, most people did. That was all hilarious about it. And the next thing you know is one dude come up to me and he said, "Hey, let me get this. let me get your S off your zipper." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Your little starter S. What?
I didn't realize that he had a bootleg starter jacket, because living in Killeen and Fort Hood, you know, the bootleg game was strong out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, like in the late 80s and 90s and everything.
And I learned it from that too.
Yeah.
You know, like, think about it. Like, if we could go back to the bootleg era, why are we bootlegging anything? Just start you a brand.
Just do a different one, right? Like,
you got the material. You mean you took the time to make this? You could have just made your own thing.
And it's like, this is high quality bootleg.
But everybody doesn't have the eye either for it. Like, you got to have the eye for that kind of shit.
Right.
Like, you can't just. I've seen people come with T-shirts or ideas, and I look at it and I go, I don't know about this one, man. This is, go back to the drawing board. Like, if I could show you what the Dirty Wormz logo first looked like, it was just a scribble scratch.
Yeah.
But then that idea, you know, it spawned over time. It kept coming. I actually had the mascot before I had the logo. So it was all these different pieces that came together to make all that happen. But like I've been saying, for the most part, people just don't see it through. You have to see it all, and you have to know what you're getting into, that this is gonna take a lifetime. So what I did was I embodied it. I said, I doubled down so much that I hear people say to me all the time, I've never even seen you wear nothing else but your brand.
Right.
I never see anything, like I'm in the gym working out. A dude walked up to me and said, I just had to see it for myself. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, your gloves, the gloves you're wearing have the logo on it. I'm like, yeah. He goes, your shorts have the logo, your shirt? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I just had to see, because that's what I know about you, is you wear your own brand.
Yeah.
And so when I even got into that, that's what I started doing. I was like, okay, if I'm going to the gym, I need my own shorts. So I didn't mass produce them. I just went and had my own made. If I went to a business meeting, I need to have a nice polo with the Dirty Worm logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to where, okay, if I put a suit on, I have a tie where if you step back and look at it, you're like, oh, that's half of the face of the Dirty Worm design on his tie. Like I would do all that. Like I open my car doors and the lights, they hit the ground and it's
It
what it is.
projects
Like, hold
the
on.
Dirty Worms logo
Yeah,
on
You are your brand.
Yeah, like, see, hold
we
on.
totally take that for
Oh,
granted.
I got my other keys in the house. But yeah, so there's just other things like, that's how I embodied it though. I doubled down all the way, everything, Dirty Worm. So the black tea talk, I got to be drinking out of a black on black tea talk mug, which goes along with the black on black brand. Cause even the black on black brand didn't start popping for us until 2018, 19. And people would see it and go, well, where's the logo? I'm like, look at it. And they're
It's
like,
right
oh,
there.
it's just black. It's just black on black. I'm like, yeah. So we had like black on black hoodies, t-shirts, hats, the mask. Now we got the cups. But now all that stuff, now that the black tea talk has come, everybody now is coming back and they're buying up all the black on black stuff.
Yeah.
So, and here's to give you some more game on ideas. So with the t-shirt idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come with an elaborate t-shirt that costs probably like $35, $40. But then you come up with some other t-shirts that are just 20 and 15.
Yeah.
And you do a bunch of those. But the idea that you're trying to do, so even when I did all my so I had to have high price items because then I understood that there's going to be a rich dude somewhere or somebody that got the bread. He wants to buy that because he can.
Right. Absolutely.
He wants to buy something. He wants to buy the high priced item that the regular fan probably can't buy,
they can't
just to show that he can do it. Yeah,
right.
just to show
You're
he can do it. So then what I did was, so my whole, and I'm about to give away a jewel right here. So when I did my whole store, when we used to sell it at the shows, all those products you see, I invested in the prototypes and everything just for you to buy the $20 shirt.
Yeah.
And that's what made those pop like hotcakes.
Yeah. I sat there and like I have a lot of. I have a lot of shirts going on for just like the one price of $25. And what I was thinking about, one of my friends had noticed, like I have a logo for the site and everything, right? And I was asking him to give me his take on it. And one of the things he pointed out, he was like, I noticed you don't have any. You have the shirts and everything, but you don't have anything with just the logo. And that needs to happen. And
it's important.
He's like, I love your logo. I love the way I love the different variations you got on it. You need to be out there with your own shirts, wearing them, and even that's a form. Even that's a form of paying yourself back. Because when you step out, if I do live broadcasts, they need to see 615
and your
across
crew.
the front. Yeah.
And your crew. My team and my friends would get mad at me if we went somewhere. I went to a Smackola show back before even Dirty Worms, and I just had the Smackola stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if you ain't wearing this, you can't even come with us tonight. You can't even hang with us at all. Like
today, he told folks that they can't even come to his funeral if they're not in a Dirty Worms. If they're not in
see, now what I said.
On the show, he was like, "Don't even."
Hold on. What I said was, I said, if something were to happen to me and you see somebody walking around in a RIP Smackola t-shirt, tell them immediately, nah, fam. I said, don't do that. Just rock your Dirty Worms t-shirt. That's it.
Yeah.
That way you know who was really down and who wasn't. Just rock the Dirty Worms t-shirt, because I'm creating it also. I'm investing in all this stuff so that it could live on past me.
And that's
so it
really
could become a thing. Like, I want it to become something as big as I don't know, Hello Kitty or something like that. That was my.
You know what?
I think that's what's like Joe's thing was. That's what he was saying before you got on. Is like this, like he wants this to be something that has a life that represents that puts out, right, Joe? That's what,
like my clothing, like I said, you put on one of my shirts. Then if you bought one of my shirts, it's not because you wanted to, you just wanted to support, but because you saw something on my site. You know what? That's exactly how the fuck I feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm going and I'm going to wear it. You know, like I got one. I hear female friends of mine talk about how they get mad at the way, you know, guys will approach them and everything, and it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I came up with a shirt, and not just for women, just for anybody. Period. It just doesn't feel like being approached that day. I got one shirt that just says "Gone on." Before you even come over here to me, just going on. And even these designs themselves are basic in the first phase because these are the thoughts, you know, I wanted to experiment with, and I got other designs I'm working on now that I want to put out. But like you said, it has to be it has to be clear that you didn't just get this shirt from anybody. You have to leave that indelible impression. And I think it's something we should already know. It's something that's ingrained in us already as artists, period, point blank. Because when we get out there, when like say for example, if I get out there on stage and do a poem, I feel like I'm here to deliver a message. I'm here to give that work to somebody who needs it. Now, whether or not I'm in a crowd of just 200, 2,000, 200,000, one day soon, claiming it. I'm getting that one. And I'm going to hit that person so hard that they're going to be the epicenter for everybody else who feels it. But I'm getting that one as soon as I get them, and they're going to walk away. Yeah. They done felt me. You know what I'm saying?
You're now getting into the psychological aspect of the branding.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing too.
Yeah.
So as a hip hopper, I said, okay, I've always liked the movie The Warriors. I said we need leather vests, and not just any old biker leather vest. We need a SWAT team military style black vest with the logo on the back.
Man.
And so that when we walk in, because I still approach it with the same aspect of the battle, so that when we walk in a show, I want all the other rappers and any your homeboys there that think, oh yeah, my homeboy can out rap Smack and then woo. Now I'm playing the psychological game. Now you see me and my crew walk in. We leather vest up. We got the Dirty Worm metal belt buckles. We got the metal belt buckles. We got the little belt buckles for your boot that's on your Timberland boot, black Timberland boots. We got the hat, the fucking, you know what I mean, the bandana. So now when you see us walk in and you see that, psychologically, you're like, we've already lost. Like
can I tell on you, Smackola? Can I tell on you for a minute? Okay.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if you remember this, but again, that show at the Come and Take It at Bobby's thing, at Bobby's birthday party, right?
Yeah, I remember.
I'm gonna tell on you, okay? Because I was the stage manager, and when I tell you that Dirty Wormz required that everybody be out of backstage when they set up, and when they come off stage, they need everybody out of the way because they have their process and things that need to be up and down, and there's not a lot of time, and it's like professionalism. And do you know that I'm the one that has to do it? And Joe B, you've known me for years and years and years, right? And they were up on stage and they were about to be getting down, and they're F the Dirty Wormz track, right? There was a bunch of folks standing around backstage, and because they made it imperative, and when I tell you every single person that worked at that venue said, make sure everybody is cleared out when they come up, like this is serious. So when they were doing the F the Dirty Wormz, I stood up at the corner of that stage, like between the stage and the ramp down, and I got everybody's attention, and I was like, all right, y'all, I need everybody to say F you, Stacie, you know, and F you, Stacie Shea, and started singing it with me back and forth. I said, all right, now get the F out of here. And they did. But my goodness, because the bands that, I didn't know them people like that.
Tell it the right way. And we gonna get into that too, because they all met. Tell my story the right way.
Look, they had to do right. That's all there is to it. Consummate
It was
professionalism.
a rap.
It
This is
Yeah.
the
was.
truth. It was a rap before it started. Like,
It
let me
was.
break down the Dirty Worm showcase. That's what I call it. I don't even call it a show. I always say we're not here to perform.
No.
This is a presentation. We're here to do a Dirty Worms presentation. So you come walking up to the venue, you're gonna see a big ass, I'm talking huge as
It
fuck,
was huge.
a big ass light shining on the building to where we've basically now psychologically told you we've taken over the building. Yeah, it says come and take it live, but you can't help to see this big ass logo right next to one. And now where the hell is that coming from? Like the bat symbol. So I invested in that in order to do that. So now I can even go to another venue or an event and I can sit back. I've done it at Tinseltown a couple of times. I can sit in the parking lot and I'll just shine the logo against the wall. So as everybody's walking up to Tinseltown, they're like, where is that even coming from? And then I see people going, that's the Dirty Worms, man. That's the Dirty Worm. And it's huge. I'm talking huge. I did it at the police station. I've done it all over. So anyway, you're walking up to the show. The logo's on the wall. You walk in. You start seeing balloons. If you see the crew members, everybody, you can see it says crew. He has the logo on his back. You could tell who's who and what's what. And you could tell the higher up the crew is by the vest.
Right. Do they have leathers?
By
Like,
the
what's their
outfits.
vest say?
Yeah. Then we have the merch model girls walking around in full gear, get up, the mask and everything. Walking around. Now you walk over. Yeah, now you walk over to the, because that's the part of it too, is that the merchandise store itself was the opening act.
Right.
Nice.
So now you go over to the merch table. There's 2 TV screens. We got product everywhere. You got beautiful models walking around. You got mannequins up in there. So now you're seeing this. So now any average person that just came to see some entertainment is going, well, who the hell? I got to see who the hell these guys are. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Then when the show starts, we drop the screen down. It's a full video presentation, intro, everything, the whole 9. We bring in extra lights, all that stuff.
I mean,
Come out, we do our show. And then when we leave, it was all that was done. And if you remember that night, it's all about the anticipation of just seeing what it is. And now in that first, so this even goes for you, Joe. So now when you do your shows, that first 3 minutes that you get ready to hit the stage is your whole presentation.
Basically.
Well, look,
And
let
all
me
you
tell
gotta,
you something.
and if you could win them in that first 3 minutes,
look,
you hit them with an intro so put together than the average person would do, because it was a lot of work.
Look,
But
but
then
let me
when
tell
you
you
do
something.
it's over.
Look, Smack, listen, let me tell you what Joe B does. Joe B is a slam poet. Joe B puts everything in 3 minutes. Like all of it, everything in 3 minutes. He's so it's pretty incredible. But what I think is really interesting in listening to this dynamic is like y'all are both very charismatic and both have quite an extensive following and are very effective entertainers, but for completely different reasons. Like what just from what I've seen of Joe B for years and years of performing with him, what makes his brand so notable and brings in the draw is how approachable he is. Like Joe B is the guy that was known around town for the best hugs. And it's like, this is the man that has the best hugs in town. Men and women say it. You need a good hug, you go see Joe B. Joe B. You know, so it's actually his cuddliness that makes him, it's part of his draw. Whereas with you and your brand and Dirty Worms brand, it's that really solid.
It's the Black Panther band.
It's the edge, right? You know?
It's the Black Panther band.
But when you get Joe B on a stage,
here come the Negroes.
But when you get Joe B on a stage among his folks, they're just as intimidated by him. Really, like when they see Joe B walk in and he's about to go up against them, they are just as intimidated by him.
I don't think it's an intimidating factor. It's now we're friends. I look at, like, I've heard people say that, but the way I think about it is now I got your attention.
Right.
Now you're finna give me my full. You're finna give me the full attention we deserve because you're looking at everything, going, let me see what this is, and going into it. You look at those bands that played that night. There were some great bands that played before us.
Mhm.
Name them. You
That
can't.
ain't right. Listen,
It's
why are you
over.
doing that to
It's
me?
over.
They just came up
It's
and did their
over.
thing and walked off.
The
They made
Austin
over.
School
They
of Rock.
you tried it.
I mean, you
tried
know what
it.
I mean.
You tried it.
Listen, why you gotta put me on blast like this?
They gave, well, what it is that you
I
gave.
manage a lot of shows.
It's
Sorry,
not.
Joe.
It's well. I tell people when I host, there are only two kinds of performers when it comes to live. And Smack, you already know which category you in. But I tell people there's only two kinds. When I would host shows, especially those bullshit Afton shows, I would tell people I was like, "There's only. Come on, don't even get me started.
Wait,
Don't even get me.
what?
Don't even get those bullshit pay to play shows. Don't even get me started on that red ticket bullshit. Anyways, when I would I would try to see if I could get them to get something out of their money's worth. I would try to energize them, and I would say it's only two kinds of performers. The ones that go to work, go at it like they got to go to work in the morning, and the ones that's at work right now. I'm finna find out who you are after I call your name. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, like when I was traveling, it was especially true when I was traveling cross country. You didn't know who Joe Brundidge was when he got on stage, but when he left, you damn sure knew who Element 615 was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You damn sure knew who I was when I left. Like, you would call me up to the stage, and it doesn't matter. It's not that all the cute and cuddliness and the hugs and everything before was a facade, but now I'm on stage. Now it's time to work. So as soon as I get up there, eye contact, everything. As soon as I get up there, there's no hi, everybody, I'm finna do a poem. It's like as soon as I get on stage, hey there, boom, I live my life from paycheck to paycheck. So in exchange for all the services rendered, I get the next day, which means I am barely able to pay the bills. And everybody's like, oh, let me buckle up real quick until he's done talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, hey, everybody, I'm Joe B. How y'all doing? Clap if you're next to someone beautiful. You need to know that you were here with me tonight. You know what I'm saying? When people go to a Dirty Worm show, they know where the fuck they were. The next day, they can tell you where the fuck they were. And I love your idea with the light on the wall. And I said, next time you do that at Tinseltown, if y'all ever do that again, especially at Tinseltown, if you know, like, the manager of the building, see if they can hook it up to where somebody else runs the spotlight, right? And then, like, put the spotlight up on the wall, and when people look up, like, all y'all in full gear get on the edge of the building on top and, like, look over like Batman and shit like that, like skulking over everybody, you know what I'm saying? And then just like,
I mean, I've done it even in the movies. Like, I'll sit in the movies because it's pretty small where it could fit in my hoodie.
yeah.
So right when the movie's over, you kind of know when the credits are about to hit the screen.
Yeah.
I would just bop, 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 and I'd hit the logo real fast. And people thought it was part of the movie. And I know people in the theater are like, yo, was that the Dirty Worm logo? And they're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? But just to know there was 2 or 3 people in the theater that would be like,
Man,
I thought I just saw the Dirty Worm logo flash across the screen. Like, that was weird.
Listen,
it's that branding, it's that messaging, it's about the connection. You got their attention and you make good on it. Like another one of my favorite poets, and a damn good poet and a damn good friend of mine, Ebony Stewart. She the poem that I just started on, in a minute, when she first heard it, she came up with this idea for a line I have where with her she makes eye contact. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And I did it.
Somebody out.
And I do it too and everything, but I usually just dart. And I have a line in one of my poems that says, if you don't love yourself enough to be happy being alone, you've been cheating on yourself with everyone you thought you were giving your heart to. So I would stare at somebody.
Rotten.
I wouldn't know who they were. I wouldn't even have any emotion in the stare. I'd be like, if you don't love yourself enough to be happy being alone, you've been cheating on yourself with everyone you thought you were giving your heart to. And it would send a shiver.
Yes.
You would see them like, oh shit, because they just thought about the situation they were just in or the one they in now. Some nights they'd even be sitting next to that fucker.
Look, the situationship is happening.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, ooh, it's been a bit, and you could tell it's going to be a long car ride home. I just know that right now.
Yeah.
But it's about the connection. We as artists, the connection is everything, because my thing is, it don't matter how good you are, your talent. Yeah, okay, fine, I get it. Whatever you were born innately with, whatever. But if all you're gonna do is go up there, next verse, spit your whole hot 16 like it's hot 16 when really you just scared to be up there. All right, thank y'all, everybody. Good night. And then you get off stage, and the only thing you got to represent yourself, to tell people about, is your Facebook page, not a fan page, not an Instagram page, not even a Bandcamp. You got no representation. You got nowhere for me to find you elsewhere. Just a little short. You just banking. You just living off the short-term local notoriety, because you scared to be more than that. We don't aim for it. When you really at it, when you really about your brand, you don't aim for it. You aim through it. It's house party rules, and you play by house party rules, Smack. If you want 10 people at your party, how many people you gonna tell?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell more. I'm gonna tell 100 people.
yes.
And then 10% will probably show up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm also the type of person where I don't really look at numbers of crowd. If it's, let's say 10 people show up, we're used to rocking shows that are way bigger. So 10 people is like, I love it because I can make these super hardcore fans. Because now I can concentrate on 10 people. You know what I mean? And it's a lot easier to do. You know what I mean? And I give it, we give it everything. We give it everything every single time. And it doesn't, and those 10 people will run off and tell other people. Exactly. And you know, it's that's how it is. But we have to see it through.
Yes.
So anybody watching this, if you're trying to build something, you have to see it all the way through. Become it.
Yeah.
Become the whole embodiment of what it is. Like, you know what I mean?
So I'm gonna pause for a minute and say, hey, baby brother, if you're watching this, I already gave you my stuff. Finish my logo, please, because I need to get my stuff together.
And lead with that. And everywhere you go, like let's say, if I tell people all the time, when they come to our shows, I'll see some guys, you know, they support us. I'm like, why are you wearing our shirts? Well, I just wanted to come support you. Nah, man, you should be in your crew's whole. Y'all should have came in here as your crew, because then everybody here would see, oh, so and so showed up to the show.
to Smack,
and they were,
showed up to Dirty Wormz
you're
show.
already in support of the Dirty Wormz show because you're here. You know what I mean? Now show up in your get up. But if one of your partners, if one of them is not on the same page, and this is why I was talking about that team player that stood the other night.
Yeah.
What I don't like about that is y'all are a team. So if you weren't gonna stand, then stay your ass in the back.
Right. So okay, well,
don't mess up the presentation of what we're trying to do here.
Right.
Well, listen, I have a question for anybody who can answer it between you two. My thing is my face. It's this face right here. Like that is what people expect of me everywhere I go, is kind of a sarcastic smirk. It's that right there, you know? So like, that's not something that I can put on a t-shirt. That'd be weird. Don't you think?
Well, what I'm trying to you don't fall into the Jimmy Walker dynamite. You gotta do dynamite.
Right. Like I don't want to. Right. So
yeah, don't do that.
How do I, exactly? So
was that where you're trying to make your logo be, your face?
No, I don't know what. That's why I just told my brother I have zero ideas for my logo. I gave it to my brother. My brother knows me. He knows how I think and how
I'm telling you, man. Every time I see your name, I think Shea Butter.
I think about, like, I remember one day I was sitting there I was practicing drawing, and you know, like when you draw faces, you draw like the cross, you know what I'm saying? Then you draw the oval, and then you do the features from there. And one day I was just sitting there etching, and I was trying to copy Russell from the Gorillaz. You know the drummer and everything, that Del the Funky Homo Sapien Hill voice. And I was drawing the first half just to practice, and my second baby, my daughter Kiera, she looked over my shoulder, and she was about 4 or 5 at the time. She looked over my shoulder, and she said, "That's Daddy." And I looked
Aww.
and I said,
And your
I do.
logo is fire. I love your
I said,
logo.
I do kind of look like Russell. So I took the half image. Hold on for a second. And this is what I came up with. You know, just messing around with it, and I started shaping it more into my face. But in reference to what you're saying, Stacie, you could just take like a basic symbol like this, a basic circle. It don't even have to be your exact. It could just be like look at the face you're making right now, right? You could do a basic drawing of it with the Bantus right there, with the little dots for the Bantus and everything, and just how those cartoons are with just the black dot eyes. You know what I'm saying?
See,
It could just be that with a half smirk, just that simple face symbol.
but my eyes are crazy.
It doesn't have to be your exact eyes. It doesn't have to be your exact. It doesn't have to be your exact eyes. It doesn't have to be exactly that. You know what I'm saying?
Yours is exactly you.
Well, at the end of the
day.
day, it's just a bunch of lines, and you'd be surprised. Tell your brother that, and I bet you he could come up with something fly like that.
Man.
Just basically a little dot with just a half smirk, little dot eyes, and a little half smirk, smile or whatever.
I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna be recreating a photo series here pretty soon that I'm pretty excited about, and so we'll see. I have to get my new headshots, but I don't know what to do with myself. Talk about.
But just start. That's all you do. Just
exactly.
Start.
Just start.
I am, and I'm studying, right? Like I've been studying. I've been on my homework. I'm gonna learn how to make this look better. Shout out and thank you very much for tips on that.
Just start, because all that stuff will come. It'll come.
One of the best compliments I've ever received. A friend of mine told me, she said, "Joe, I mean no offense by this, but you have stopped more shit than motherfuckers than half the people I know will ever start. You may have initiated something and may have crashed and burned. It may not have been the best idea. Maybe it only lasted 10 seconds, but you did it. You got out there and you did it. You said you were going to do it. You started it. Don't matter how long it lasted. You got out there. You didn't. And it's like that one line in Transformers 20 years ago. Don't you want to be glad you said you got in the car?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? 20 years from now.
That's what I say when I think about where we are now. I look back. I said this on the show. I said, man, when I look back, I'm like, wow. Like, even when I see old pictures of myself, I'm like, to take that risk or to believe in myself back then, because trust me, everybody laughed at me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody laughed at me.
Mm-hmm.
When I said, yo, I'm gonna do a rock band, man, they laughed. The girl I was dating at the time, when I first said it, she was like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, it still didn't come till years later. She laughed. When I came with the "fuck the dirty worms, you ain't shit" on a t-shirt, even the band members thought I was crazy. They were like, man, what? You're crazy. Why would you say that? And I said, I'm telling you, watch.
It's going to catch.
And, and everything I ever did. Hey, man, I think I can shoot our own videos. What? Yeah, man. Hey, man, I'm going to do the flyers. What? Yeah, man. What I'm saying? So I just kept going. And you'll probably run into a lot of that. But then it's funny to watch other people then years later tell you, man, you inspired me, man, to go do this. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because it's the same way I look at Roy Jones.
We're going to talk.
People that tell me, oh, man, tell Roy Jones don't fight Tyson, man. I said, listen, that's a person that gave me my shot. And being around him, seeing him do boxing, running it himself, he's really the first black, independent-owned black man I've ever seen run his shit, pay for his own billboards, pay for his own everything, right? And I'm like, wow. Like, he could have went the other route, but this is what he's doing. So now I was there when they were first going to fight Mike Tyson, when the idea was being thrown around. I'm looking at him and Mike Tyson. I'm like, Mike don't really look that big compared to him, really. He's just a little thicker. But that's about it. You know what I mean?
Listen,
but what I'm saying is, when I was looking at seeing the fight in Roy, like, Roy wasn't wavered by it. He was just like, yeah, I want this. You're the best, and I want to fight you. I'm going to move up 3 weight classes to do it. And we all seen him do that. Now, of course, there's times he's lost, like all boxers do. Everybody takes losses. But what inspired me the most about him, that really lit the fire even more in me, that nobody could never tell me shit now, is I seen him when he lost. He went right back in the gym the next day and was working and talking about, I'm not done. Like everybody else was like, are you sure, man? And he would just look at him like, what are you talking about? Are y'all trying to like kill my spirit? Like, I'm not done.
No.
I got the fight in me, but y'all are trying to tell me what the fight is. But I got the fight in me. So seeing him do that, I've always thanked him for never giving up and doing that, because, man, seeing him get back up and get back to it and do it is what really just inspired me. So even now when people are like, but man, he might, man, win, lose, or draw, man, I'm standing behind him, period. Because even if he fights Mike Tyson and loses, what does he really lose?
Right.
He doesn't lose anything. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know why I feel
and just like you said, and when one day when he looks back, aren't you glad you got in that car?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you gave it a shot?
Exactly.
Now you're in the conversation, and now you're a part of Mike Tyson's legacy. I told people, if they said Smack, Jay-Z and Eminem want to battle you in Madison Square Garden, you got to take your equipment and go battle them, and they're going to use everything and their resources they got to battle. I'm not stepping down from the battle. I'm stepping up, accepting it. And even if I lose, which they'll probably, by the time they pyrotech me to death, right, I'm still now what I've done, even if I lose per se, I am now in the conversation. I am now a part of Jay-Z's legacy.
They'll be like, you remember that time that guy that got that got trounced by Jay-Z's pyrotechnics?
But see, even if you get trounced, the idea, the notion that you create, and the fact that you even got up in the first place. There's a saying that if a dog barks at the moon and the moon doesn't say anything, if a dog barks at the moon, the dog is a lunatic. If the moon speaks back or even turns its head, the dog is a legend. You know why you know why I think Roy Jones might just pull it off is because he knows what he is getting into, and he has a respect for Tyson. He has watched Tyson. He has spoken up for Tyson. You know what I'm saying? What's when Wilder started talking crap about him and everything, he was like, "Look, guy, you've been fighting some glass jaws, and you've just been consistent at that, baby. But this man in his prime, he could eat you. You need to respect that. You have to respect your opponent. You have to know what you're getting into. You can't be afraid. And that's not to say know enough to be afraid of it. Know enough to know when you step forward. Like when I teach when I teach poetry to kids, I always, when I ask them to come up and read, they get nervous and everything, and they get the shakes. And I make sure they're received in love when they come up and they ask me, what did you do to get over the shakes? And I was like, I never have. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
You get up there and you read and you're good. I'm like, the shakes don't go away. I just realized what the shakes were. When you get up to go do something, when you go for that promotion, when you get up to go read that poem, when you get ready to hit that stage for the very first time and you're shaking and you're nervous and you're scared and if you're finna go tell that person, no, you're not gonna do this again, and you're scared and you're shaking, that shaking isn't you telling yourself no. That's your cage rattling.
Ooh,
the bars are shaking. The bars are getting ready to break down all around you. That is your proof that is not you telling you to stop. That is you telling yourself you are doing what the fuck you are supposed to be doing. And she was like, how do you get over the shakes? And I was like, you don't. You pray to God that doesn't stop. Because the day you stop feeling that feeling when you get up there, that's the day it feels like basic work. That's where it feels like you're just really clocking in. That's when that fire is gone. And that's what you need. That nervousness that you feel is your North Star. That those butterflies are your wings fighting to come out. You know what I'm saying? And people don't realize that when Roy goes in there, he's going to feel nervous. He's going to be cautious. He's going to ask himself, should I have done this or whatever?
Mike Tyson's going to be nervous too.
He's going to be nervous too.
Like, I'm old as shit.
But here's the thing about Tyson. Tyson was always nervous. Even he admitted.
But you got to remember too. They've been doing this for so long.
This is their life,
Yeah.
right? This is what they do.
But I would tell my friends. I said it's almost like if they were to lose, they don't look at the same way like you're looking at like, oh, he lost. Oh my God. They don't. They already know.
No.
That's a possibility. That's the whole part, because if they lose and can come back, that's the best part. That's what you want to see anyway. You see it in movies. You see Batman get his ass kicked, and then he comes back and he whoops ass. Superman gets his ass whooped, and he comes back. That's the part you want to see.
I don't know how frustrated I would get reading X-Men, and their whole crew would get washed by somebody. Either it'd be a whole team of B-listers with some awesome powers in the moment. It'd be a whole squad of flashes in the pan, or it'll just be one overpowerful person, and then they just come back like it's just nothing. You forgot the whooping even happened.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and then when it's done, you
just
just when they come back, they come back so strong. You forgot they got knocked down in the first place.
Man.
And by the way, like, I don't think Jay-Z and them would totally wash me. I definitely think it would be one of them situations where people would have to look at and go, hey, man, that dude got washed, man. You know, they pulled out the catalog, and then there would be people going,
no, he didn't.
But
right, like, no, he didn't.
That dude gave them a run for their money, for real. Like, it would be one of those.
I don't think
that would be all I want.
No, look, that would be all
I want.
I don't think you would get stomped
because they would wash me. They would wash me in the aspect of it being who they are.
Right.
But now we're just gonna base this.
If
we're gonna base this on just strictly performance level, then no.
Yeah, quality of the show, quality of the music, quality of the product. It's not a getting trounced thing.
No.
But at the same time, it wouldn't be taking nothing from them. To me, in that situation, nobody loses. I didn't really lose.
No,
I didn't really lose per se. I'm in the conversation now.
At this point, if somebody ran up on Jay-Z right now and said, son, I'll eat you right now, I'm gonna battle you head to head, he would chuckle. He would chuckle, take out his wallet, and then it would just get dark everywhere. I was just here's the thing. What would happen? Here's what would happen Here's the thing. If you went to them Madison Square Gardens, Battle Out or whatever, they would. You know what? It would go down like the Jill. It would go down like the Jill Scott Erykah Badu versus battle. It would just be everybody. Let's just show our stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And no matter who they say won, you'd get a call from either one of them say, yo, we having lunch at Justin's. Come on with us. We want to rap about some things. That's awesome.
It was the same thing when I had the George Von Doom battle. I told him, I said, if you play this right, you will gain a lot because people love to root for the underdog.
Yes.
Everybody knows pretty much I'm about to wash you because once I start reaching in these different bags, you're not going to really have anywhere to go. Mm-hmm. Now, you're not a bad rapper because if I thought you just sucked,
you wouldn't even do it. Right? You wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, I just thought you were going to rise to the occasion.
Y'all are so merciful.
I thought he was going to rise to the occasion a little more than he did.
Right.
And I told him, I said, man, stand up to me, man. Tell me, say on Facebook, man, fuck you. I told him. I said, do that back because this is going to rile people up because that's all they want to see. If they just think you're cool and we're cool, they don't care about that. Let's rile it up. Let's go. And he jumped on it too late. And then what he didn't realize, he jumped on it too late. And, of course, the people that were rooting for him were still going to root for him regardless.
Right.
And I already knew that. So when people said, well, it wasn't a real battle because y'all didn't have judges. How come you didn't have judges, Smack? I said, look, because that wasn't really the message I was trying to put out. We both won.
Right.
If y'all came to the show came to see it, we both won. Because if you like Dirty Wormz or if you're here as a supporter of him, no matter how many times I could wash him, you're still gonna say, nah, but he got it. and vice versa. You see people do it with sports teams all day. If this sports team won totally, you hear people go, nah, man, but they cheated. What do you mean? Because they made every shot? Like, how did they cheat?
Look, Deflategate was some garbage. Look, I'm just gonna say that was straight up cheating. He knew
how
them
many
ball.
times have you heard somebody brag about how many times have you heard somebody famous or somebody big that made it? How many times have you heard them talk about somebody who themselves weren't any popular, who themselves weren't as big as they were, but their actions while they were in the game were legendary? Man, so and so who played for the Hoopty Whoops, they never won. He never won one game, but he was always in there. I come out here with that heart like him. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to play like her. She did this and he did that, and I want to play them. Maybe they never made it big, but man, that fire that they had to just stay in there. How many times have you?
Resilience is a big deal. Resilience
It's
is inspiring.
It's a very big deal, and it's like you said, it's inspiring. It stays with you. That's why I remember a few years ago I was thinking about the fact that we live in a day and age to where there are no big glorious battles like we would read about in the history books and stuff like that, right? There are conflicts, there are wars, there's more than skirmishes out there, but there are no grand things out there that inspire us and say, man, did you read about what happened to so-and-so on the field of so-and-so yesterday? That doesn't happen. So what do we have? We have sports, we have entertainment, we have things, but both of those things are so much more than that. How many times have you wanted to go out for a promotion or do better than what you're doing, and all of a sudden you see so-and-so who done broke their leg in the third quarter. You don't know how they're going to do it. They're hobbling around the place, and they got up and they still kept going. And you're just sitting there like, what is happening? This is insane. They've checked out. They're not even here. If they can do that, then tomorrow I'm going to give 10%.
I know 4 people that have graduated from college because they were like, well, if Stacie can go to school, and I know I can do it.
And that's with me. A lot of the things that I do, it's never to be better than anybody else, because the only person I need to be better than is Joe B from yesterday. I'm trying to do better.
Exactly.
To say what I like about what y'all are saying here is that it's not about the competition. It's like we can improve just by being together and doing what we do. Just by there's no competition. We do different stuff. It's apples and oranges, even, really, But I think it's important to note, like, I'm a poet and I've been a writer for years and years and years and years. But when it comes to performance poetry, I would never say that I'm Joe B's peer. Even though I've been on stages for years, I've done all kinds of other things around it. I do not have the caliber of performance for spoken word and slam that man has. I would never, but I've been writing for 30 years. It's like I'm no slouch, but I just do something different. I think it's important to build each other up and to acknowledge each other's gifts.
Definitely.
It's all of that. And when you get out there, you don't get out there with the intention of saying you'll never be able to do it like me. You get out there with the intention of saying, if I could do it, what are you waiting on?
Well, have you seen?
I tell people all the time, just do it. Just start. Just go.
Just start.
Have y'all seen Kung Fu Panda? Hold on, just real quick. Have y'all seen Kung Fu Panda? Kung Fu Panda went with the Sifu, and he was like, I'm not going to teach you how to be me. I'm going to teach you how to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I tell people, just start.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is? You say that like that's easy.
Because it really is that simple.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Whatever you got, just start.
It's the illusion of difficulty, because the precipice is so very difficult. That jump, it's not so much the fall, because the fall is going to happen. The rise may happen too, but the idea of everything that's going to happen after you lift your feet up and move, because it's everything that could happen. Because if you fall, that's one thing, but what if you rise? What if you do better than you? Everything.
What if it works?
Like I'm not used to the air up there. I could freak out and self-sabotage. I don't even know if I deserve this. But then as soon as you jump, you're like, oh.
Sure
exactly.
is pretty.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like, boom, and you take off, and nobody can stop you, and it's brilliant. I remember, I can just remember the first time I learned how to ride a bike, and no training wheels. I went every freaking where I could. Whenever we moved, I would get on that bike and I would ride as far as I could into the neighborhood until I was completely lost. and I did my best to not go back home the same way. As soon as I started, I did my best not to go back home the same way. I did that enough until I just wasn't lost anymore. I'm like, oh, okay.
I used to get lost on purpose too. But hey, you know what? That's an excellent segue. Actually, for this, because here's why. So once you learn how to do something, you take it as far as it can go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went ahead and watched the Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion video.
I heard the song, but I haven't seen the video yet. And I heard the video. I heard the song. I've seen various GIFs on Tumblr, which is Tumblr by itself is a strange, dark enough place. So why would you not see GIFs of it on Tumblr? But yeah, I could see. I said, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. As soon as I saw the two of them before the release date on an album cover together, I was like, yeah, they finna bust some heads. They finna stir it up. I just laughed.
Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm listening.
Well, the reaction I've been seeing all over is the exact reaction I expected, and that's before I even heard it. I knew I had an idea what it was going to be about, but I was like, "Yep, it's going to be a conversation. It's going to be a conversation."
So you've got daughters. I'm going to ask you what Smack was asking this morning on his show. It was like, "Is this okay? Is this okay?"
I was watching the live with y'all this morning, and I got Smack. Do you have a page for Black Tea Talks, or is it just?
It's on Smackola. This is my Smackola page.
No, okay, because I'm asking if you've got a separate Black Tea Talk page. Because if you did, I would have tagged it on this thing. Anyway,
yeah, well, I'm already following the Smackola page, so I'll just keep an alert. For that. I'll just get an alert set for that. But what I'm saying is that. Am I gonna teach my toddler? Am I gonna teach? Like I have two college graduates. I have two high school graduates. I have a high school graduate. I have a son that's in college, and I have a younger daughter who's not even in middle school yet. But that being said, it's all about the discussion that you have. Because bottom line, you can't put a chastity belt over their eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's period, point blank. This world is full of things that as a parent, you have to guide them through what they see and help them understand. You know what I'm saying? You could say, no, you're not ever watching that video. The best way to get your kids not to do something is to tell them, no, don't do it. I'm willing to bet you, if you tell your kids, don't you clean this room, I will beat your ass and you will go to bed with no dinner. You'll be on punishment for a year if you clean this room. I would not be surprised if the room was spotless. That being said,
never clean this room.
That being said, they're going to see it. The discussion, let them ask the questions about what they see if they see it. You know what I'm saying? Thing is that's it. Period. Point blank. Because it's out there, and whether or not you let them see it, they're going to be exposed to it at some point. Because we got cameras, we got phones with TVs, we got phones that show videos. All of it. The thing is, it's out there. So don't focus so much on controlling the exposure. Prepare yourself for the conversation, because controlling the exposure is you saying you're afraid to have the conversation with them, and you'd rather they never had it. But then when they get out there in the world, when they're old enough to see it for themselves, they're like totally gone and out there. And God forbid they be out there without you having told them anything or had any discussions with them, and they get a taste of it away from you. Because then it's like, woof.
What is that thing called that the Amish people do? I don't want to be disrespectful, but in my head, I always call it the Rumpelstiltskin. And that is not what it's called. Let me Google that real quick, but it's where they let the 16-year-old go out into the world for 3 weeks or whatever, and then you decide if you want to be if you want to stay with the religion or if you want to go live in the world. And most of them choose not to go live in the world because it's just like total sensory overload, and they go wild and like just so much crammed into a very short period of time. They didn't know anything.
Well, look at how many older cultures, or less quote unquote nuanced cultures, will have a procedure or way of sending their child out there when the child reaches a certain age to let them make a choice, to let them see for themselves, to let them find out. But in between the moment they're born and the day they have to go walk away to see for themselves, there's a certain amount of things they need to know that you owe it to them to tell them.
You gotta teach them. It's the Rumspringer.
Right, before they get out there. And people are like, I hear people, oh man, this Cardi B and this Meg Thee Stallion are gonna ruin my kid's life. No, you're gonna ruin your kid's life because you expect Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B to rap about numbers. Right. How about you sit down? How about you sit down with them, because you'd rather, if you say no, they're gonna go over whoever's house, watch with them over there, lie to you and say they haven't seen it, and snicker and giggle with their friends at school the next day while they watching what else on the phones you bought for them.
Look at here.
So my thing is control it. As far as the subject matter is concerned, that's a whole nother issue. People gonna have their little say so. Oh, it's messed up. They doing this and they doing this, and I'm like, man. And yeah, I get it that male artists have been catching hell for over sexualized lyrics and all that other stuff.
But have they though? Have they been
exactly.
catching hell?
Here's where I'm going with that. You can say they've been catching hell, but at the same time, it's been kind of a boys will be boys kind of thing. Even even the flack. When was the last time you saw artists catch flack that NWA and 2 Live Crew caught?
Man.
You remember that smack?
Yeah.
Remember the hell they went through? When was the last time you the stuff they talk about now? You can hear it on Spotify. You can hear it bleeped out on the radio. You can hear it on Sirius.
I remember when TV changed and somebody said "bitch" on TV. We was like, "What?"
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
then it became normal.
Right.
I mean,
right. It's only a problem because those two are saying it. It's only a problem because Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion don't be standing up.
Now here was a question I asked though that I've been asking some women. I said, okay, so I understand they're using their sexual, what is it called? Female power empowerment or something.
I love
I
love the dad wince in your eyes when you said that. The dad wince. That was perfect.
No, because my thing is when I'm confused and they think I'm being funny about it, but I'm like, okay, so again, have y'all seen the video of the girl sucking on the doorknob? Is she expressing her female empowerment sexually? Is that it?
Look, my attitude about everything for everybody.
The 2 girls in 1 cup.
That's disgusting. 2 girls in 1 cup. Stop it! I can't.
See, but what I'm saying is, and then the other one is, if Cardi B and them are doing it, which they can do whatever they want, I don't care. But I'm just trying to ask. Now, was Nia Simone expressing hers? What happened to that?
She really was. She was just a bazillion years ahead of her time, and they just couldn't stand the black woman.
Well, my thing is the fact that she was. Any time a woman is bold with hers, period, no matter what she's talking about, she is going to be considered a threat. If Queen Latifah gets on a commercial for Q-tips, you know what I'm saying? Start saying, yo, you better buy these motherfucking Q-tips right goddamn now.
She don't even talk like that.
But if she did, men would be like, oh, I don't know about this Queen Latifah. She's getting kind of uptight about those Q-tips. Oh, we ought to blah, 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 blah. It's only a problem. And I've heard the argument. Some dudes are like, nah, men been catching hell for lyrics. But no, the same dudes that have listened to these men that caught hell for those lyrics, right? Those same dudes are upset at these women talking about the same damn thing almost. And you're not upset because they're talking. You're not upset because of the content. You're mad about who's saying it. Because if they turned around, if it was the Migos, you know what I'm saying? If it was the Migos or even Chance the Rapper for what reason I don't know.
He would
If
never.
it was Migos or Rick Ross or Waka Flocka back when he was really doing it and everything, if it was any of them, even J. Cole, even if it was any of them saying that, I want a girl with some, you know what I'm saying? If they turned the lyrics around and flipped it from a guy's perspective, said, we want a girl who does this. I want a girl who gonna make me give her a ring, blah, 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 blah. It would be so many people loving it. It would probably be on Kids Bop next year.
I mean, it is.
They probably have a Kids Bop for it next year, but it's the fact that it's them that's talking about it, and it's like it's not so much. My thing is it's like I was saying earlier with the cultural bleed out thing is we live in a day and age to where everybody is flexing their right to be just as human as everybody else.
But
it don't matter
to what end though, and I think like to what end.
Well, what it is it's over the past few years since this country was made, we've been in a cultural pressure cooker.
Like, is that a power that people is the power? What is that? How we really want to use that? Like, really, Joe B, have you ever seen me up anywhere in anything that looked like? Oh, you haven't watched the video yet.
Well, I've seen footage of it and everything, right? But here's my thing: even though you would never wear anything those women are wearing, right?
I mean, there's a few of them. There is, but not the ones with the. Anyway, go ahead.
Even though you would never, even though you probably wouldn't say or do most of the things that they're talking about in that song, the fact is, you have a right to now. You can flex it. You can flex that now. I'm not saying that we should send little girls in the third grade in the school screaming WAP, but at the same time, the playing field is level now, and that's what's upsetting a lot of folks. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, respect existence.
But I also think it's a certain level of the music industry pushing that. Where they might feel pressured to where they had to do that because you need to do this to sell because we needed to sell, so we need you to go full porn. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the same pressure the guys back then faced. You know what I'm saying? So it's like so my thing is like, is that gonna be all Meg Cardi B talks about? Maybe not. But at the end of the day,
then we got to remember. Oh, go ahead.
It's a matter. What's good for the goose should be good for the gander. If not, then the goose shouldn't have been doing it in the first place.
And then we got to remember too, whenever the industry is backing something super sexually charged, it also stimulates the economy because now people are spending money. Because now you're going to go out and buy that dress, buy that purse, buy that new head unit, that fucking, the guys now are going to buy the new shoes because, she was saying in the video she loves the guy with the fresh pair of Jordans, it's all those things.
Right.
Just like I've always said, we buy big gold chains and big rims on our cars because we're trying to impress the queen. We want the queens to choose us. So we do that stuff.
I saw a picture of a guy on a yacht, one of those super yachts, right, or whatever they call them. And there's this woman in barely a two-piece, laid out.
Barely a two-piece.
You know what I'm saying? Tanned up, laying on the front. What's it called? The stern of the ship, the very front of it. Laying out on the deck of it, just sitting there, letting the sun just come down on her, and he's sitting there chilling, shirt out, belly out there, like I make enough money to not feel bad about my belly out here, with glasses on while she's out there chilling. And somebody said in the caption, he said, that woman out there tanning is the only reason he's got that fucking boat. Period, point blank.
It's true.
Period, point.
I mean, that's how they sell it. That's how they sell cars.
Because now, and that's how they do it. That's how they sell it. They make it so that you can go out there and get that woman, because that means you have stability, you have power, you have all of that. But it's like nowadays, now that the playing field again is level, power can be had by anybody.
But
You know
there's
what I'm
a
saying?
role, like, I mean, and I get it. But even that, I'm gonna be real. If I wanted to be on the end of that boat like that,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain way that I would have to conduct myself and behave myself under most circumstances. There's a role that you have to play.
I don't know about that.
And well, listen, I'm telling you, listen, okay.
I've kicked it with some.
You.
Okay,
I hear you.
I got something for that as soon as you finish. I got you as soon as you finish.
I hear you, but what I also know is, and that role is not necessarily a stereotypical role, like you got to be all submissive or quiet or like sugar baby or whatever. But if you want to be at the end of that boat, you have to be whatever the man who owns that boat wants you to be. So if he wants somebody who's going to challenge him intellectually and stimulate his mind, then you better go read a book, bitch. And if he wants somebody who's just supposed to be like ditzy and precious and just have a fat booty, then you better not say nothing and act dumb if he asks you something.
Listen.
You know, I mean, I've seen it. I'm telling you as a woman. You're talking about the female perspective. I'm telling you what I have seen and experienced. I'm listening. I'm listening. What you got, Smack? I'm listening.
Let me tell you something. Now, I've kicked it with some big time players, and I've seen all kind of different women come across certain things. And when you come across certain material objects like that, I've seen the most strongest women not have enough power to fight that, because at the same time it turns into this fantasy. I've seen women walk into these homes, and I used to tell my friends this. I say, okay, when she walks in here, she ain't gonna want to leave because this is a nice ass fucking house. This is a mansion. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not just because it's a mansion. They said, what do you think is gonna kill her? I said, them curtains. Look at them curtains. They're like, curtains.
The attention to detail.
I said, dog. Yeah, exactly. I said, dog, when she see them curtains, look how long them curtains is. When she see them curtains, she gonna look at them curtains, and that's just gonna do it for her, blow her mind. And we would watch it happen, right? Then I've been on boats and yachts and all that, and seen the girls step on the boat and yacht and just be like, man, I picture myself.
I could get
like,
down.
I know I was talking all that shit beforehand about what I would do and what I wouldn't do, but I'm here. My bare foot is on this. Man, this is a nice finish.
This is a nice
boat.
Finish on this boat. This thing is fast as hell.
Yeah, and now when you're
there.
in it, and man, I've seen it all change. Like, where's all that empowerment that you had?
Listen.
Well, it's a matter of. And it's like what's so crazy, and like I said, all of that has been true for years. But at the same time, we now live in a day and age to where that dude sitting on that boat could hear like a big horn and look over to his left and see a woman driving a boat the same damn size.
Yeah, that's true.
If not bigger, you know what I'm saying? And that would make that man upset. You know, like the same dudes out there that are so feather ruffled over what they are talking about in that song is the same dude who was in college at frat parties listening to pilot was there, hey, hey, or shake it.
I think it's just the timing of it, maybe. I think it's the timing of it.
It's the timing of it, but it's like but it's like what's so crazy is that there were women back then that were rapping and that were talking about this, and because men were so steep in the game, they would get hushed down. Like matter of fact, to your point about the labels, you remember what happened to Adina Howard? You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to. Yeah. I'm not saying she didn't want to sing about the shit she sang about, but they took one look at her personality, her aura, whatever, and they said, "You gonna sing Freak Like Me?" Well, actually, I got these other songs I want to work
about.
You finna sing Freak Like Me. When Pink came out, she was doing the version of Pink that you hear now. You know what I'm saying? That one calling the nurse a little bitch because she won't give her no more pills or nothing like that. That's the Pink that was looking for a record deal. That's the Pink that was struggling working as a waitress. And when LaFace came up, when LA came up to her and said, okay, we want to give you a record. Okay, well, I got some stuff I want to talk about. My shit's kind of edgy, nah, whatever. You sound like a black girl. So we got a whole list of songs you're going to sing. You're going to put on some tight pants, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as she played the game, won the game and changed it, she flipped it. And now she talked about the shit she want to talk about with Adina. As soon as they gave her Freak Like Me, that's all she talked about ever since.
Yeah.
That's all she talked, and that's a whole, and you could go into the whole color discussion as far as that's concerned, but that's a whole another thing. But my thing is, what it's about at the end of the day is that for centuries, not every human, there have been human beings that weren't being treated as good as other human beings because they weren't seen as human. They weren't seen on the same level. And now all of that is changing. You are seeing power structures everywhere shaking and trembling. And now you're seeing more of the power. You're seeing the powers that be snarling instead of growling because they're afraid, because it's all breaking down. You know what I'm saying? You're not there. So like I said, it's not. I agree with some of the stuff you were saying, Smack. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not that they're mad that the subject matter is being talked about. They're mad that it's the female talking about it. Because again, if it was the Migos or 2 Chainz or Snoop talking about it,
I think even if they did it right now, the timing would be. It'd be like, do you see what all is going on right now? Like that record's a bad timing. It's almost like they put that out to be like, yeah, y'all just focus on this over here,
right?
While all the real shit's happening to keep y'all just twerking.
Well, that's
the point. So you think that the time is past?
I just think that record's a bad timing.
The time is past for the objectification of women and anything that might put anything. Is that what you're saying? Like, and then in which
what's
case,
that?
I said, are you saying that the time has passed, and I'm not disagreeing, excuse my dog, the time has passed for the objectification of women, be it through a woman choosing to do it and empower herself, or a man objectifying her. As such, you're saying there's just no room for that anymore. Now is not the time for that. And if it's not the time for that, what is it time for?
I just think with hip hop, I just think with hip hop and the climate of everything happening, people are, just pandemics going on and all this stuff with the pedophiles now 80% all the way through.
Yeah.
With all the laws that they're pushing and the hypersexualization of everything going on, this election. I just think if I even had an artist that was doing something like that and I said, oh man, we went big with this record, this is not the right time for that record.
Right. It's detrimental to society right now.
This is not what this is not the right time for that record. And watch how fast that record lasts. It's not even going to last long.
No.
It really, I've been saying it's not a really good time for any artist really to drop any music because it's past music now. This is some other shit going on.
Yeah.
But I just think personally, it was the wrong time for that record. Like if the pandemic wouldn't have been going on and it's just regular strip clubs are open and all that, they would have ate it up. Nothing would have been any different. But right now, this was the wrong time to drop that record.
Right. It gives people plenty of time to
and I think that's why
Yeah,
and I think that's why people are probably kind of feeling the way they feel about it. Because, I'm all about free speech, all that. So you can do what you want to do. Right. I just think it's just bad timing for a record like that. It's like even some of the records we have right now, I'm like, it's bad timing for a record like that. Like I even have records that you could play for the protesters and rioters to really make them turn up. Bad time to probably play that right now. Like,
right.
Yeah. Then people will go, damn, Smack, like, I don't know if you should have dropped that record right now. Like, man, got people too hyped.
Imagine if Michael Jackson was not only still alive, but also not a pedophile, neither here nor there. But
I mean,
it is kind of here. It is kind of here. But let's just say that if he wasn't that, still alive, and then dropped, they don't really care about us. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how much of an effect that song would have?
Well, where's that anthem for the day? Where's that anthem for the times? Hey, I wrote 30 of them.
And you know what? That's what I find interesting. Back in the days, artists were writing songs about getting up and standing up. I remember
They are still writing them, but they're not making it mainstream.
They're not making it mainstream. But then again, we live in a day and age where things can go viral whether or not they hit Billboard. You look at
because we don't control it.
Which circles us back around to the branding. How do you get people to? Anyway,
well, you think about one of my favorite examples is and apologies if I mispronounce his brother's last name, but Toby Ngiwe.
Yes, try Jesus. Not me.
Well, the way
that record should have been big.
I can't speak as to how he was doing it before I heard of him, but all I know is that him and his woman got to producing videos on YouTube, putting them out. They caught on like fire, and then boom. You look at how Drake bragged about getting a deal because his mixtape caught so much attention they couldn't deny it. You know what I'm saying?
But even though it was being pushed by a label.
Yeah.
Come on.
But there are artists out there. There are artists out there that made it that big.
Luda did that. Now Luda legitimately sold out of the trunk of his car.
He got out there and he made that. You get out there and you make it your own way, regardless of what the industry won't let you do, because now we have the internet. You know what I'm saying? Now we have ways of getting stuff out there, and it's cool to not be mainstream. But like, what do you listen to? Oh, you don't know about that. You know,
you never heard of it.
Yeah, you ain't gonna hear this on Spotify or YouTube, baby. This that real shit. Oh, now I really gotta hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. You look at SoundCloud. You look at SoundCloud. Oh boy made Old Town Road by buying a beat off somebody from SoundCloud, putting it out there. The shit just exploded.
Man.
So it's like it goes back to what Smack was saying about being consistent. You know, following your brand, putting it out there enough consistently. Don't even get me started on the Twitterverse.
Oh man!
If Black Twitter loves your shit, if they hate your shit, it's gonna be
you're gonna get paid.
The thing we got to do is make it cool again to be independent.
Yep.
Instead of being dependent on things.
Right.
And I think we got too dependent on certain things instead of having the independent mentality that we used to have. Like, I remember the days of the Black by Popular Demand shirts, and when Spike Lee was kind of the guy running shit. You know what I mean? Everybody had more of a independent hustler spirit back then. You know what I mean? We don't really have that.
What happened?
Anymore. Because that was the beginnings of the get the bag culture.
Yeah.
Get the bag, get the money. We started being about the money.
And then Puffy came in and we started selling the idea that we already had it.
Yeah.
And then that hood rich mentality kicked in, because when him and the Hitmen came out, they went, because I watched that documentary on Netflix. These cats went overseas to an island, sat in a room in the same house all together, not a mansion, a house, and dropped all about the Benjamins. I would love to invent a time. If I had a time machine, I wouldn't even go back and, all that, kill baby Hitler. I wouldn't do any of that crazy stuff. I would go back to those moments in studios when cats knew they had a hit. Because they were describing the moment they knew all about the Benjamins was going to be a banger. And I was watching it, and I was like, man, I would have loved to have been in the room the day they heard that beat after he freaked it the way he did. But what they were about, they were about not so much, selling, Black excellence and everything like that, but they were like, you'll get this money, we get this money, we get this money. So now you got
selling the party fantasy.
Yeah, the party fantasy. So now you're so enamored
about selling Black excellence. Let's stop for a minute, because we only have about 14 minutes left before this. And you guys too, you gentlemen are both very prominent in your respective fields. Why aren't we about selling? How come Black excellence is not marketable?
Because we want the same thing, but we don't want the same thing.
all you blacks want the same thing.
We
Kanye.
can't. Yeah. Puffy, Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves. She just sold them off to Puff Daddy.
Oh my gosh! Listen,
But
listen.
we all want black excellence, but we can't agree on what black excellence looks like.
Why do we have
I'm still
to?
on.
Well, my thing is because sometimes what you define as black excellence, may contradict what somebody else defines as black excellence. You know what I'm saying? So, like, say for example, let's look at the idea. Let's touch on, which is a whole nother episode. Let's touch on the notion of color striking. You know what I'm saying? That sickness. Some people might say black excellence is a whole lot of rich light-skinned people at a light-skin party in the Midwest. Some people might say black excellence. Some people might say black excellence is only rich black people who went to college, like the Huxtables or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I would say black excellence is all of us supporting each other, building each other up instead of lending a hand instead of pointing a finger, educating each other without being condescending, building each other else, giving resources, the way Smack just passed game on to me, stuff, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. It is that simple. It should be that simple. But my thing is, if there are people out there whose idea, like I guarantee you, I don't know why I forgot that dude's name, Ben Carson. Ben Carson's idea of black excellence.
That's why you forgot his name, Joey.
Yeah, because he didn't deserve to be remembered. I can guarantee you that Ben Carson's idea of black excellence is very different from your idea of black excellence.
Yes, Lord. Yes.
Well,
come on.
Smack,
I don't know,
y'all
y'all might not like this, but I have this talk all the time, and it has to be said. It has to be addressed.
Well, let's do it. Let's hash it out, Smack.
This is something that's a reality for me, and it's for a lot of black independent owners as well. They don't like to talk about it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm a black independent owned business that is mainly supported by white folks.
There's not a person here who can't relate.
Yeah.
Crickets.
and that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm saying. Look. Ain't no used to be lying. Ain't no used to be lying.
Now there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But that was part of what I wanted to talk about today on the show was what is going on with us to where, like, but I know if I do some ratchet ass crazy shit, I can get them to support me then. But it's just weird. And that doesn't speak for everybody because there are black people that support me. But the majorly overwhelming amount is like, I mean, if I really hate to say that because I feel like.
Is it true?
Yes,
okay,
it's true.
You don't hate the truth.
No, I'm not hating it. I just hate to say it because I feel like I've tried to work past it to where, okay, it'll get better. It'll do this. And then when I turn around, I'm just like, man, like what is it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And that's why I was saying before, is the Willie Lynch thing still lingering? Because it is just crazy, man. Like, I don't get it.
I also think it's math, though. I think it's math. Like, what percentage of the population here in the United States is black? Period. So most of you
no, because some people are being supported by black. There are some. But the ones that to me are being supported by it the most are the ones that are selling the biggest fantasy.
Because those are the ones that are being marketed.
When I see P. Diddy say black excellence and talk all that, everybody goes, yeah, and they support him, they get behind it and everything. And then you have Mace that comes out that says, well, since we're supporting black excellence, can you finally give me the rights to my music 20 years later so that I can finally eat off something that I deserve? Like, you've eaten off it long enough. And it's like, no, because it's really a facade.
Right.
It's really a facade at the end of the day. When Nick Cannon just went through what he went through and P. Diddy offered him $10 million, to do the show. People said, see, that's good. I said, no, Nick
It's
has
not.
$10 million. He could put that behind his own brand.
Period, point blank. And when's the last time you? And let me ask you, what's your favorite? Period, point blank. What's your favorite show on Revolt? Don't worry, I'll wait.
I really don't watch Revolt.
Exactly.
But I'll say this, that before Drink Champs went on, I thought that was a cool little show. That before they went on Drink, but then once they went to Revolt, I don't know, I stopped watching. I always thought like everybody's trying to have their own store. That's what would make it cool.
They figure like if you buy from them, and you just coined it when you talked about P. Diddy, if he says Black excellence, a whole bunch of people will run and buy it because number one, people are apathetic anyway. So I'm just sitting on my couch not doing shit. I don't feel like going out to some barely brick and mortar, somebody's table to go buy their stuff or supply. I just want to stay home and Netflix and chill. I just want to stay home. But
Right.
P. Diddy just said Black excellence. If I buy if I order something from his site online or do whatever, blah, 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 that's me doing what I can for the cause. And that means I don't have to get up from my couch.
And some of that Black excellence will rub off on me.
And I'm buying. On top of that, I'm buying. And on top of that, I'm buying something so I can walk around saying I did it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what frustrated me is when they did the whole blackout thing, right? And that was hilarious. When they did the whole blackout thing. I
talked about that.
They talked about that. They talked about there was a sister, I think here in Austin, who owns her own, who owns her own 7-Eleven franchise, right?
She's on Main Street in Round Rock.
Where somebody said, don't go support her because it's franchise. Yeah, she's Black, but she does not own it. It's a franchise.
She owns the franchise.
And I'm like, the money goes into her pocket. It's not just that it circulates in the community. It's that my money goes into a Black woman's pocket. That's the damn point.
And nobody can divest from the oil industry.
The same with my shirt.
Not yet.
Same with my shirt.
Let me tell you, when that blackout day came and they were supposed to spin black, man, I had like 20 white people buying shit. Not one Black person.
No.
Not one.
No.
And I even went online that day and said, just share my shit. Not even one Black person shared it.
No.
It was just crazy. It was like I was sitting there going, that whole Black excellence thing is it is exactly what it is. It's a cool hashtag. It
was a cool hashtag, and it was a sales pitch. There was even a guy running a website for the blackout as if he was like the sole authority of it. This is Blackout Central, blah 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 blah. And I had put I had included the blackout hashtag on the items I was selling and everything, just to see. Got no attention.
Okay.
Got zero attention.
Let's talk for a minute then about what we can do. Like right now, the whole premise of my show is to support my friends that do really, really cool stuff. That's the whole principle of it, is to support my folks that do really great work in the community. So I want to be solution oriented, right? So what
just keep doing what we're doing. Just
that's it, right? That's what we do, right? Is that like what?
That's all you can do.
And then I want you to. And then I want you to tell us where, because we got 5 minutes. Where can we find more information about your products, your websites, your all of that? Tell me all of that while we're wrapping up. So whichever one of you go first.
Go ahead, Smack.
Okay. Oh shit. Hold on. You can find me at dirtywormz.net is where you can buy our products. We have all kind of products. Just go subscribe. Go subscribe. You can check us out on YouTube at Dirty Made Films. I've directed music videos. We do all our own stuff. And any platform that sells music, you can check us out. Or Facebook, Dirty Wormz, Smackola, whatever it is. But dirtywormz.net is where I would say to start. Just subscribe and check out our merchandise store. Just check it out. Share it. Check out Black Tea Talk weekdays at 10 a.m. Central. And even if you're just coming in for 1 minute, just before you leave, just hit the share button. That's it. That's all we ask for.
Yeah.
Really, great, interesting content on there, and people call in, and you get to be part of the show and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and Joe B, what about you, sir?
You can, if you just Google the phrase element and then the number 615, all is one word, you can find me as far as my book is concerned. It's still on Amazon. And as far as my clothing is concerned, you go to 615.com. That's SIXONEFIV. There's no extra E on purpose. I'll explain when I sell 500 shirts. So it's like I said, SIXONEFIV.com. From now until I decide otherwise, there is an automatic 15% discount when you buy 2 or more shirts. Once I start adapting, get back into the idea of paying myself, thank you again for the reminder, Smack. You will see me with shirts on hand. You will see me with shirts on my person when you see me. So that way I can tell you exactly where I got them from.
You got them from you.
You got them from me. I can give you the website, everything. I will be about my brand. I will be about my business. And that's pretty much that.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you for having us.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm Stacie Shea with the hash with Stacie Shea. You can find me on YouTube, on Facebook. I'm either, you can find me under Stacie Shea Says, Stacie Shea Like the Butter. And then also the hash with Stacie Shea, STACIESHEA.
Yeah.
I'm all over the social media stuff, so please like and follow these wonderful folks, Smackola and Joe B. We gotta support each other, y'all. We gotta support each other. And thank you so much for coming on, gentlemen. And hey, let me ask y'all one quick question, real quick. Let me just let's just derail it real quick. How come both of y'all call women females?
I do that?
Yes, you do.
Oh my God. I didn't realize I did.
Well,
I thought I had made it a point. I thought I had made it a point to stop.
Sometimes I say ladies, sometimes I say females. I don't know. I think in this day and age, sometimes we have to be gender specific. I don't know. I don't know.
I thought I had been.
What would be the correct thing to say?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for for everyone, but for me, I prefer not to be called a female because that sounds like animal. I'm country as hell, right? So female and male sounds like animal husbandry to me. So I like lady, woman, Stacie.
I say those too.
I thought I'd been saying women, but at the conditional response and voluntary reflexes, whatever the occasional faux pas will happen.
No, listen, all of y'all men, when y'all get around other men and y'all don't think that women are watching, y'all call us females.
No,
we say broads.
Broads.
You remember as soon the first time I remember when I was working in Club Illusions, when I was doing staff work, when I was doing working staff work in there, and I heard the first time I heard female said like a curse word, I said I'm gonna stop saying that.
Because it felt funny. I mean, it didn't feel funny with y'all. I just figured I'd ask y'all.
Well, it is something to be mindful of. You know what I'm saying?
Do you call us men or males?
I mean, it depends on who you are.
See? I guess that's the answer.
I'm offended.
Depends.
I call both of you men, but I don't call all males men. No.
There is that. You can't.
Some men.
Can't.
Some are boys in men's bodies, But
right.
I try to be respectful of most things, though, publicly at the very least, But at any rate, thank y'all so much for joining me. And
thank you for having us on.
Yes, sir. Keep watching. Tune in next week. Peace.
For sure.
Peace.
All right. Peace.